Today we are celebrating all things Snow White in Toronto's castle. Welcome to Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and that's right, friends. Today we are on another Toronto adventure, but today is extra magical because it's a Disney Toronto adventure. Today is the opening day of the Snow White exhibit here at Casa Loma, so it's a full celebration of the upcoming live-action reimagining of Snow White, and it's also an opportunity to explore Toronto's castle. Yeah, Toronto has a castle. All right, before we go in, a quick history on this beautiful building behind me, Casa Loma. Now, technically, Casa Loma isn't actually a castle. Its name sounds like castle, but Casa Loma is, according to my labor-intensive Wikipedia research, Spanish for house on a hill, or hill house, because it's a house. If you see there behind me, it's on a really big hill. Casa Loma was built by a guy named Sir Henry Pellatt. He was born in 1859, and he was a Canadian businessman and financier. He did a lot, but one of the main things that he did was bring hydroelectric power to Toronto, and for a long time he made a lot of money off of everyone who was using hydroelectric power. That also kind of ended up being his downfall. By the early 1900s, Sir Henry was a multi-millionaire, and he decided he wanted to build a castle because, of course, that's what you do when you're a multi-millionaire. And it took 3 years and $3.5 million in 1911 money. So that's roughly 100 million Canadian dollars today. I feel like this is more like the Canadian real-life version of the mansion from Clue, which in some ways I think is cooler than a castle. But anyway, the mansion features 98 rooms. It has 2 secret passageways. There's a stable house, and when Sir Henry first built Casa Loma, he filled it with priceless artwork, but also not really priceless because eventually his fortune took a hit with the Ontario government nationalized hydroelectric power. So basically they said a private person can't make money off of this, the government's going to own it. And so that cut off his main income source. And so to subsidize his income, he had to start selling his artwork. Eventually the property taxes for this place went from, listen to this, $600 a year to $12,000 a year. So Sir Henry and his wife, Lady Mary, only got to live in this place for 10 years before they had to give it up. After they left in the 1920s, it was leased by another person who tried to turn it into a hotel for about 10 years. But then in the 1930s, the government of Toronto seized the government. The city of Toronto seized the property, and I believe it still is owned by them. And it's really just become a historic landmark at this point because, look at it. It's beautiful. Now, full disclosure, I don't actually know what this event is going to be, which is kind of funny that I dropped $60, $80 if you include parking, to go to an event that I don't really know what it is. But I'm also hoping that there will be some costumes on display. I'm really hoping there'll be screen use, but even if not, I think the costume design for this film, from what I've seen, looks spectacular, and I really need a magic mirror photo op. Okay, let's go in. All right, we're going to check out the experience map. So I think I want to save the courtyard and throne room for last. Wait, there's going to be an aerial show? Oh my god. There's a mine train photo op. We have to do that. It looks like the Aerialist Show is going to be at 11, and then the night show across the street, which I guess they mean through the stables, which is really fun, is going to be at 12, 2, and 4. So that gives us time to explore the castle. We'll probably talk about this throughout the video, but a lot of movies have been shot here at Casa Loma. This is the Oak Room. It was originally designed to be Sir Henry's library. The ceiling is 18 feet high and the walls are lined with oak paneling. This room was used in Chicago as Billy Flynn's office, and it was also used as Professor X's office in X-Men. And actually a lot of X-Men was shot at Casa Loma, including Peacock Alley, aka the main corridor. So it's been Disneyfied for this event, but Hugh Jackman ran through it looking distraught in the first X-Men movie. One of the tour guides here just challenged me to a challenge. He said if I go into Sir Henry's bedroom in the publicly accessible area, apparently there's a secret door or a secret compartment or a secret something. And if I can open it, I can be entitled to learn a secret about Casa Loma. All right, here we are, into Sir Henry's bedroom. Oh my god. I was not expecting to see the corpse of a cat. It's like the thing that Glenn Close wore in the live-action 101 Dalmatians.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? You,
I found it. I mean, granted, did Google help me? Yes. But I still found it. Adjoining, we have Sir Henry's bathroom, which is a whole level of extravagant I've never seen before. You know that you're living the good life when your toilet has a curtain and you're surrounded by marble. So one thing that's kind of cool and fun about Casa Loma is that this structure, this house, was built around the same time that the first ever Snow White movie was produced. And no, it was not the 1937 Disney animated classic. It was a film that for a long time was lost, but it's like one of, well, I feel like in some ways it's one of the most important silent films of all time. It was made in 1916. It starred Marguerite Clark. It was an adaptation of a show that had played on Broadway, also starring Marguerite Clark. And as far as silent films go, I gave it a watch. It's actually really engaging, and it's a really compelling Snow White movie. And you know who else thought so? Walt Disney, because apparently Walt Disney saw this silent film when he was only around 15 years old. But what makes that extra special is that this specific silent film was actually thought to be lost for years. And when I say years, I don't mean like 5 or 6 years. I mean like upwards of 80 to 90 years. After its initial run in the like 1916, 1917, when Walt would have seen it, there was this huge fire that basically destroyed a ton of Marguerite Clark films that were owned by Paramount, and people thought the Snow White movie was gone forever. It was eventually rediscovered in 1992 at the George Eastman House, so now we're able to see it. But what I find so fascinating going back and watching that movie is it is so clearly the thing that inspired Walt's vision for Snow White. And I think it is so telling at what a good movie it is that he probably only saw that once, and certain visual elements stayed with him to the point where he incorporated them into his Snow White movie, to the point where they have become icons of Disney princess movies. Things that we take for granted now, like a bird landing on Snow White's finger, the dwarf's mines, the animal friends telling the dwarfs that Snow White is in trouble. All of that is in this silent film, and all of those elements became such important parts of Walt's movie, and it's so cool to see that history has its history. Okay, this is it. We're going up to the towers. Woohoo! It's creaky. Tower rules. Enter at own risk. Don't run, don't throw, don't climb, don't sit. Use handrails. I could do all those things. It is so wild being here with virtually no one else in the space. But what's even crazier to me is that this spiral staircase is how we get up to the tower, and it's one way up, one way down. Let's go. This is an absolutely crazy time to remember that I'm scared of heights. Yeah. Whew. Oh, I feel a breeze. I feel a breeze. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my God. This is flippin' gorgeous. Look at this. We're in the tower. Look. That's the castle. But also, Toronto. Oh my gosh. It's the tower. The other tower. Well, that was fun. Now let's do the extra fun part, walking down the spiral staircase. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. Now it's around 10:40, which means Aerialist Show, the first one of the day, starts at 11, so we have about 20 minutes to get back down to the Great Hall. It's like we're in Hogwarts. And see some people aerialing for us. Well, the bathrooms are gorgeous. If you ever wanted to know what Sir Henry Pellatt might have felt like getting to, use the commode surrounded by marble, like, you can have that experience. Okay, we just saw the Aerial Show, not to be confused with the Mermaid. Now, we're going into the basement because I believe there is an 800-foot tunnel that's going to take us underground over to the stables where other magical happenings are magically happening. Actually, before we go through the tunnel, this is kind of funny. This is a hallway where normally it's an exhibit showing off movie posters of all the different films that have shot here at Casa Loma, but right now it's just all Snow White, but they haven't changed the plaques. So you'll see Snow White, or is it actually a scene from Titans? Cocktail, my favorite Tom Cruise movie. X-Men, Apocalypse, regular X-Men. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Scott Pilgrim, the World.
Casa Loma has a tunnel system that's approximately 800 feet long. It connects the main house to the stables and the hunting lodge, which are located on the northern part of the estate. Originally, the tunnel was built so that Sir Henry could travel back and forth without having to go outside, but for this event, the tunnel has been transformed into the Dwarf's mines.
Okay, I can't turn up the cute photo op. Okay. Oh, this is so cool. It's not even really a photo op, it's just like a cool thing to observe on the way down the tunnel. It's the Dwarf's mine.
Now, there's a long and complicated history between dwarves and mining, which I actually have a whole video about called Should the Seven Dwarfs Be Cancelled? Go, check it out, but also, check out this photo op.
You can get right behind the trolleys and I can take a picture.
I would love that.
I'm a miner now.
Okay, that was so fun. I got to ride in the mine cart, or at least that's what the photo would say. Now we're going to, oh my gosh, I see it, it's the miner's cottage. Dwarves have existed in folklore for centuries, but their introduction to the Snow White fairy tale was entirely a creation of the Brothers Grimm. Previous versions of the story usually had Snow White rescued by 7 robbers, but other variants included knights, fairies, and forest spirits. Disney's animated film really solidified the names of the 7 dwarfs in everyone's minds, but another film that does a really cool job with naming these characters was a 2001 TV movie called Snow White, Fairest of Them All, starring Lois from Smallville. This movie really leaned into the dwarfs as magical beings, and it named them after the 7 days of the week. And also, they were capable of making a rainbow. So the Castle Guard show is at noon, 2, and 4. We have about half an hour before the Castle Guard show starts, so we're going to just check out this area. So this is separate from the castle, or from like the main house. Right now we're in the stables. Apparently the stables are actually the first part of the property that was constructed for, I believe, $250,000, but like in 1910, 1911 money. And like just the stable alone cost more than most mansions did back in the day. This area was also used, I think, in X-Men, but also I think it's safe to assume any place you step foot in this building was used in X-Men. But yeah, look, this is where the Horsies lived. Rest in peace. So this is something really cool I didn't know existed until literally last night when I was Googling Casa Loma. They have Celebrity Gallery. Oh, good, it's another spiral staircase. Love spiral staircases. My understanding is that's kind of like a pseudo Madame and or Louis Tussauds of figures of all the famous folks who've appeared in movies here. A Hero Canada. Elbows up. A true north, strong and free. Okay. Oh, here we go. We can take a selfie with a celebrity. Don't mind if I do. Gosh! I'm not here for the Sarah Jessica Parker, horse face meme. I think it's mean, but I also think it's mean to put her in the stables.
Do I really have a face like a horse?
Okay, so we've got Vin Diesel, but more importantly, puppies! Look at those piercing blue eyes. It's like he had the spice melange. Oh my god, there's more around the little corner. I thought this room was it. Huh. Hey, it's Richard Gere. We want Billy. Give us Billy. B-I-double-L-Y. And oh, what luck, 'cause here he is. I really like Chicago. Would it be weird if I put my camera down and did a little dance? Yes, it would be. There's people coming in. It almost happened. Yes, here they are. These might be my two favorite actors that we've seen so far in this exhibit, but also my favorite film, I believe, that was shot here. It's Tommy and Jesse from Crimson Peak. I didn't realize this when I saw Crimson Peak, but apparently, yeah, Guillermo del Toro's horror film, Crimson Peak, was shot right here in Casa Loma, starring these two as creepy siblings, Jessica Chastain and Tom Hiddleston. But yeah, apparently the ballroom scene in Crimson Peak, the one where Tom Hiddleston says the perfect waltz can be danced without extinguishing the flame of a candle, that was shot in the Casa Loma library. Now, my claim to fame is that I sat in this library for a friend's wedding, so I'm basically Tom Hiddleston. And I actually have this pseudo-conspiracy theory, not proven, but I have a theory that Crimson Peak is actually a rated R version, like a gorier version of the Haunted Mansion film that Guillermo del Toro was going to make for Disney. It was in development for a long time. My understanding is that he did have scripts written, he had treatments, then creative differences happened, he walked away from the project, or he left the project, I don't want to say he walked away. And then a few years later, Crimson Peak came out. And if you kind of skim away the surface, connect a few dots, Crimson Peak feels very much like a Disney Haunted Mansion movie. I have a whole video that breaks that down, but like, it's a Haunted Mansion movie. And it was shot here. There's more down here. Ooh, it's like we're going into a rave. Yeah. It's Sir Patrick Stewart. It's Halle Berry. We made it to the X-Men room. Okay, I stand by what I said about how Crimson Peak is probably my personal favorite movie that was shot here, but I can't get over just the pure millennial excitement of knowing that this is where they shot the X-Men films. Like, it's Halle Berry. Someone call Adrian Brody. Hugh, the man, the icon, the Wolverine, Sir Patrick, Sir Patty himself. I am honestly very impressed, again, at the quality of these figures. Maybe my expectations have just been set in a certain place because of those Niagara Falls wax museums, but like you can see the tiny shaven stubble just poking through this wax man's face. Louis Tussauds could never. They probably could. Oh, that was so cool. That room was so cool. I almost want to say that the price of admission is worth that exhibit alone. Actually, I don't want to say that. I don't know that I would pay $60 just for that, but like 20? Yeah, that was great. And I'm so impressed. I thought it was just going to be that one little room, but it wasn't. And now, timing has worked out perfectly. We have about 20 minutes before the sword fighting. I think it's a sword fighting show starts, so let's go check that out. I'm confused. We can go to the potting shed or a tunnel exit. What's in the potting shed? Ooh. Ooh. Look at this. It's like we're living with the land. I did not expect this. It's so pretty. All right, well, that was a fun detour, but let's go watch the sword fighting.
Hey, I want to congratulate each and every one of you for choosing to become a member of the Queen's Army. Now, before we prepare for this sword fight, I will let it be known it is a sword fight featuring real swords. Therefore, parents, guardians, caregivers, if you do not want to subject your young ones or big ones to this form of entertainment that will feature violence, we would ask that you leave the room at this time. Okay then, everyone else that wants a sword fight, are you ready? Ha! Ha! My lords and ladies, I have his mace. Yes, you left in that room with the little white thrones. His mace.
Little white thrones. Oh, Sir Sean! What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh! That's a water closet brush.
What do you mean? It feels like a mace. It looks like a mace. It smells like That's never gonna work. Do you yield?
I yield.
I did. Sir David yields. My boys, my friends, it seems we have a winner. Thank you for listening and happy March break, everybody.
It's time. We're going for the main attraction, Snow White's courtyard and the Evil Queen's throne room. Ooh, and you get to walk through a storybook. This is definitely something that's from the new movie. It's a locket given to Snow White by her dad. It says fearless, fair, brave, and true. So I'm thinking this is this movie's answer to have courage and be kind, but like, notice, fair. The fairest. And of course, you gotta have apples at a Snow White event. Fun fact about the poison apple. In the original Brothers Grimm story, the poison apple is only one of 3 weapons that the evil queen uses to try to unalive Snow White. First, she used a corset to cut off Snow White's air supply. Next, she tried a poison comb. And yes, this poison comb footage is from the 10th Kingdom. Does anyone else remember the 10th Kingdom? It was such a good miniseries. Diane Wiest ate, left no crumbs. She didn't have to go that hard, but she did for us. Oh, anyway, moving on. And yeah, the poison apple was the 3rd one. Next, we've got Snow White's wishing well. This has to be one of the most iconic things from at least the original Snow White movie, along with the song I'm Wishing. And I'm wondering, I'm kind of scared that the new song, which is a beautiful song, Waiting on a Wish, I'm kind of scared that that might be replacing I'm Wishing. I don't want to lose I'm Wishing. I want to hear Rachel Zegler sing I'm Wishing. That's the wish I'm making. Speaking of Rachel Zegler, I want to take this moment to say I think Rachel Zegler is pitch perfect casting for like live action Snow White. I don't think they could have found a better person. I can't wait to see what she does with the role, and I am perfectly happy to debate anybody on this topic in the comments. There she is, the princess of the hour. Now, I did ask, it turns out this is not a screen-used costume, but it's still an exact replica of Sandy Powell's design for the new movie. And I have to say, I'm probably the most excited to see the costumes in this film because they were designed by 3-time Oscar winner Sandy Powell. So she won for Shakespeare in Love, The Young Victoria, and The Aviator, but she's not been nominated like a bunch of times, 15 times. But most importantly, she did the costumes for the live-action Cinderella movie. So yes, this is designed by the same person who built the most beautiful dress to ever be put on a movie screen. Now, I'm not a costume person, so I can't speak to what makes something an effective build, but just looking at it, I love how this is staying true to the original Snow White dress, but it's still evoking the time period, which I think is Renaissance, ? I also love the detailing on the yellow part of the skirt. Obviously in the cartoon, it's like just a yellow blob, but this adds some nice depth and detail.
I just got a charm, and now we get to go to the throne room. If the magic mirror is here, it's going to be in the throne room.
There he is! The magic mirror has to be one of my favorite Disney characters. In the original Disney film, he was voiced by veteran stage actor Moroni Olsen, and some people have said that the voice effect was achieved by having him speak into a metal trash can. For the new movie, he's voiced by Broadway actor Patrick Page, aka Hades, in Hadestown. Looks like they also have some prop replicas on display, like the Queen's Scepter, the Poison Apple, but this right here is the winner for me, the Evil Queen's Heart Box. The detailing is great, but my favorite thing is that it looks like it's the same color scheme as the storybook that opened up the 1937 movie. Love a throwback like that. And the grand finale, the Evil Queen's dress. What I love about this costume is Sandy didn't try to reinvent the wheel. The Evil Queen's look from the original animated film is iconic for a reason, and it's because this aesthetic has a history going back all the way to the 13th century. There's a stone statue at the Naumburg Cathedral of a German noblewoman named Uta von Ballenstedt. She was an 11th century aristocrat. And when she died, part of her estate went to the cathedral. So this donor statue was put up in her honor, and it's become the standard as the pinnacle of medieval Germanic beauty and power. And some key elements at play here are the high collar and crown, and this look is thought to have inspired the title character in the 1935 film She, which some people have said inspired the look of the evil queen. But whether it was Uda or Helen Gahagan as She, or both, the evil queen's look almost certainly drew inspiration from these icons of power and beauty.
Alright friends, there you have it. That is the Snow White exhibit at Casa Loma. It was really cool. I mean, again, this is really my first time that I've properly been able to explore the castle, and it was so cool in some spaces having the entire castle kind of to myself and just being able to dive into the cool architecture and the history, and the Disney elements were just an added bonus. You're getting to see the costume replicas and the level of detail in the Sandy Powell created creations. Absolutely gorgeous, and the live performances, so good. But anyway friends, this concludes yet another episode of Teacup for One. Now let me know in the comment section down below which room in the castle was your favorite, and what are you most looking forward to about the brand new Snow White movie. Again, let me know in the comment section down below. But for now friends, this concludes yet another episode of Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and that's the castle for one.